BWX, you can start it. So we're just gonna do like a couple days or something, week or so. So this is our last back test. We're just continuing it. I was entering trades off of the, I'll show you, but it doesn't track RR for some reason because there's no stop. I'm not using a stop. I'm using a manual stop loss just to do it quickly. But yeah, we had a good start. So let's just continue that. So I'm gonna use the position tool this time. So what is the date here? So we left off this day. Okay, remember this. So we took a long here, right? The daily candle opened low first, right? And then we took a New York reversal. So 6 a.m. New York reversal, 10 a.m. continuation here is what we took. So now let's look at the daily chart. So we see that the weaker asset creates this C2 candle. And in Q, we close above here. Kind of just in the middle of a range on a Tuesday. So Monday, we start to expand away. So let's go ahead and play price to the next day here. So here we are. This asset takes out the previous day's high. Makes sense because it's a stronger asset. So let's go ahead and look at the current 4-hour candle. So can we trade away from anything within here? That's all we're gonna ask yourself. If we want to buy, if we want to, you know, frame a long bias or whatnot. I mean, does this look like we can trade away from anything? Not really. Kind of see these failure swings on ES. So it's either like we create an SMT down here or something, or these opposing candles. So really the phase of price here, we expand into this high, and we more so consolidate, and then we expand again, right? But I don't like this deep retracement, honestly. So we gotta wait for 10 a.m. here. So we purge out this high. So there's actually SMT up here, right? So let's see what we get here. Make a thing. Let's drop lower. What do we got here? So we see that we have 930 running higher first. Then we have this SMT up here. And we're opening up within a fractal model here. I just don't like how close we are to these lows. But let's see what we get. So we have a C. We have a closure here. If we form like a, we can get like 2R at least, like something like this, then we could possibly take it. But I need at least 2R. So let's see what we get. Oh, okay. Well, we take it out immediately. So you guys know that one of my rules in my course is I don't like to get involved when we take out objectives, right? Because we could endure a new phase of price. So this is like something that you can easily avoid. This is a big part of my trading too. I generally do not like to trade stuff like this. Right, this is like an easy filter for price. But we'll see what it does. You know, now we're creating S&P to lows, and originally this was the stronger asset over here. So we'll see. Over here, it's kind of weird, right? Like if you look at ES, we take out this high. Like it's kind of like every time we take out a high, we fall back in the range, but there's no displacement lower. You know what I'm saying? This is no displacement. This is not really displacement past any low or anything, so kind of just shitty PA if you ask me. But we'll see what we get. Okay, I don't know why I can't delete this stuff. There we go. Let's see what we get. So I'm not really trying to trade within this candle. Let's see if we get a candle close through this low, or maybe a close through this high. So if you look here on the 4-hour, we close through these opposing candles. What about the 1-hour? We also close below here. So we have an SMT here. We close through there. But again, there's no draw really, besides, you know, these highs. So I just think this is a really low probability day. Like you can maybe target this high. Let's wait for a close here. Like I said, if I can get 2R at least, I might be okay with taking it. So look at the difference here. This is something that's a little bit more advanced here. So we're gonna try this 10 a.m. Right. So if you look over here, you have that SMT. You have the closure below. You also have a reverse candle. But I want you to look at the difference between the candle closes. Right, what do we notice about this asset that was weaker before between this close? Do you see this? How much more bullish this closes relative to this one? That's a sign of strength, right? You can even see it on the lower time frames here, right? Look at the fair value gap that we create in Q, and look, there's no fair value gap over here. So I'm gonna put my focus probably over here for a possible potential trade. Now we need another CSD or something. Okay, so mechanically you could enter this, so we're just gonna do it. Why not? Now, can we get at least 2R to this high? Right. So we want to get in before we take out these objectives here. I'm gonna put my stop loss. I'll just put it there. It's fine. So let's set an order here. Like I said, you see the PA, the difference on the lower time frames, and that close. This is that false like SMT type thing where I think this is just trying to catch up. So it's creating bullishness, but if we go on the daily, it's actually weaker. But intraday, it's creating that more bullish PA to catch up to the stronger asset here. This is a little bit more advanced stuff, but I mean, we'll see if it even works. I don't know. But yeah, this is about a 2.4-hour trade, so let's see how this works out. So the 4-hour, I think it's fine. All right, we take out these lows. It's not forming the low of day, I don't think. Okay, it is forming the low of day. That's good. That's actually a lot better. But let's see how this goes. Let's see when we can go break even. Not really yet. There's nothing. I don't really trust these opposing candles here. Now you could go break even, in my opinion. Yeah, you could probably go break even there. Okay, then we got stop break even. Any SMTs? Okay, we formed this SMT. I wasn't really paying attention. From this, it's just like a trash day. Let's see what it does after this. Okay, it eventually goes for a TP, and I guess it doesn't stop us out. But yeah, I mean, I don't really feel bad about that. It's just a really shitty day. So yeah, we'll just let that one go. It is what it is. Wasn't really the best trade anyways. So let's go move on to the next day. So that was a break even. See what we got here. Let's go to the daily. Let's analyze here. So, hold on. Okay, I think I'm good. As long as I'm not frozen here. So, yeah, let's ask him any questions. You got any question about that day before we move on? Would that be a continuation? Now, that's actually a reversal. So, if you go to the 4-hour, say New York reversal, where the low of day is formed from the 10 o'clock candle, right? So, like I said, it's really ugly. This is not how you want a New York reversal to even form, right? You don't want price to open high first. A New York reversal, you want it to open like this. Something like this, where we kind of trade lower, and then we reverse the day and target low resistance liquidity. We just don't really have that. It's not like you can't trade it, but yeah, like this wasn't the best trade. But since we had SMT here, it's a little more viable. So like, maybe you could have like got too hard of that. Maybe if you put your stop loss different. Where did we get in? I think we got in. Was it right here? Maybe if you demanded a retest and put your stop loss at the body, which I do sometimes, maybe you could have got too hard, but that's kind of hindsight, you know. I don't know what I'm getting these pings from. Oh, I know why. I have to reset the settings here. So what y'all got? So do you take TPs even if it's not close to the 2R? If there's a London high, no, I wouldn't take contracts off there. So I try to get 2R to my first partial point. like I want to get in position where it's at least 2R, you know what I'm saying? If it's not, I generally won't take it, or I will like demand a retest or something to like manipulate the RR. Hey Garrett, can you go through the higher time frame 10 a.m. 4-hour open on ES? Well, right now we're back testing, so we'll do that stuff maybe another time. So like this whole stream is dedicated to back testing. All right, so let's go to the next day. So let's go to the daily chart. What we got? Can you explain a bit more on demanding or determining low day, high day? You rely on the 4-hour. Yeah, so it's just about trading away ideally from protected swings. So as you see, there was manipulation creating the low of day there. That's kind of what I like to see at the low of day or high of day, stuff like that. So here we are on Thursday, right? Pretty high on ES here on the daily chart. Could maybe seek this high. Have to see though. So this candle here, even if I went along, I can't. We have SMT at the highs here. So I have a manipulation here. It looks like 8:30 news. So manipulation from the high of day. Now I don't like this deep run, to be fair. So 9:30 is like right now. So 9:30 would have to reverse lower if this is gonna hold. Like it just has to do it. So this is 9:30 like right now. Okay, this is looking good. So let's go ahead and close this here. Close this candle here. So this is the 10 a.m. open. How did this candle close? Nice and bearish. That's nice to see. Do we have targets, low resistance targets below us? Not, I mean, maybe way down here if we get there. But like I said, I was going to mention this. Monday is low of the day. You see this huge range? That's kind of supporting our idea for longs, in my opinion. Like, look at this, or sorry, shorts. Look at this huge range already. And so if you want to trade back into a range, what do you require? You require high resistance or manipulation. So we can trade expansion back in the range. So you want to pair that with an SMT and a driver. So we have both of those. So in my opinion, if we can get a continuation, a candle 3 right here, I'll take this personally. And so we're going to trade. This is again, look how we're creating a higher high here. But what do we see in price? If you guys pay attention, close attention. You would think this is the stronger asset, but what do we see about this gap, right? This asset creates a gap and respects it. This asset doesn't create a gap. So I'm gonna lean this NQ to trade, right? So if we go to here, see what we got. So within this candle too, we have a CSD already, cool. And we want to get involved before we take out these failure swings down here, right? So let's see if we get, all we need is this closed right here. That'd be sick. I want to see it do that fast. Okay, there we go. That's good enough to take. Right there. I'll put my stop loss at the body. Just because if we come up there, we're going to get stopped out regardless. We have a close here. That's our entry. And then we'll look for, this will be a final TP. This is more of yesterday's range. If you look down here, all these failure swings. But 2R will be our first TP. We'll just market that. So let's go to 2R. So we'll pretend we're like in like 3 contracts, okay? Holy, let's go. Okay, so we're gonna take off probably, let's get the daily candle here. Daily candle's wick is kind of large, to be fair. But we have news and stuff, so we're gonna take off like, okay, say we have like 3 contracts. I'd probably take off like 2/3 right here. So that would be about 67% or 66%. We'll take off that much and then we'll let the rest run. You could go break even right now, but let's let a little bit more structure, or if it just keeps, you know, trading away, we'll just go break even. Okay, that was really close. Now we form a swing point high here. I was really waiting for like some like swing point to like form within this range, because when we retrace and form a significant swing point like this, we have a candle 3, right? A valid candle 3 where we have a strong close. You don't really want to see price come up here, so we might get stopped out. But we'll see. Okay, so at this point, this looks really good. You can start to trail now. If I can grab this, right, to the body of this, these opposing candles. They're not mechanically opposing candles, but you get what I mean. Okay, this is gonna hit TP. That's a very nice trade. Very volatile day. Wondering what that was. Thursday, 8:30. I don't even know what that was. We'll let this hit, hopefully. Okay, cool. Anyone have questions about that one? That was a nice one. Do you wait for a 4-hour closure to confirm your... No, I do not wait for a 4-hour closure. So I can trade within a 4-hour reversal candle. Like but it has to be a reversal into expansion. So it's just like what we saw the previous day. So you see this is a reversal candle. This 10 a.m. candle. But what do you notice about this candle? Right, it has a small wick. Right, so we can actually, trade that. If you've been through my course, we confirm these reversal candles, the 4-hour low of candles, with lower time frame fractal models. If I go to like the 30-minute, that low was formed from the fractal model. Right, you see the 30-minute fractal model? So I'm assuming that this is the low of the 4-hour candle, and I can trade the expansion. We got stopped out there. This is a continuation version of my course. That was a really good trade. And I like this as a fair value gap here. We're just trading back within the weekly range. Kind of makes sense, right? You have 3 expansion candles. But really it's the SMT and the drivers that give it away. I need that to happen while I've got. Command plus spacebar is a shortcut for starting the next candle when backtesting. Oh, really? Awesome. When do you determine if you want to put stops? Okay, so if there is a big, let me show you real quick. If there's like a bulky opposing candles, meaning that there's no like large wick right here. See like if the candles are like this and there's like a big wick, I would put my stop loss like up above here or like 0.5 of the wick because obviously it can come back and take me out. But when the wick is next to the body, if you know what I mean, like bulky opposing candles, it's usually not going to come up here. And if it does, it's going to stop you out either way. So it's not something you guys have to do. It's not in the course, but this is what I do. I always put my stop loss at the body generally. Which I didn't even do over here, which would have actually saved us if I did that. So look over here. Do you see the same thing? Like generally, it's not going to do this. It's not going to come and stop you out when it's like a little wick. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a big wick, that's just a large range and it could come, to the 50% of that range and then stop you out. But here, 50% of this range is, my stop loss is below that, you know what I'm saying? So like if I took this right here, maybe we would have got 2R. Okay, maybe not. I don't think so. Okay, no, we wouldn't have. But it would have got a little bit closer. If you demanded a retest, you would have. But again, that's just like hindsight. But yeah, that's something I do. Well, I skipped this 6 a.m. candle because it didn't support, like, it did support expansion lower, but I wasn't so sure. I needed more confluence, right? So we had 8:30 aligned, but if this is going to be a true high of day, if 8:30 is manipulation, then what should 9:30 do? It should continue lower. So I was waiting for that to happen, and I also can't really trade within this candle, right? So we can trade it within the 9 a.m. candle, but when you start to make this large opposing run, we can't trade within it anymore. That's invalidation, right? So then I have to wait for a new close, right? So here's a 30-minute close. We don't have an hourly close. So we drop to 30-minute. Do we have a close? Yes, right? We're opening up 10 a.m. within that. Makes sense? And I'm determining strength with what I see in price. So this gap, we don't have a gap over here, right? we respect that gap. So they both sell off either way, but I mean, you would have been fine either way, but that's just one way of seeing strength away from the manipulation. If that makes sense. What else we got? Is it mandatory for you to an average? Ideally, I have SMT. It appears on the PD is 6 a.m. 4-hour manipulation, but then 10 a.m. manipulation. Again, how do you avoid that? Appears on the PD. What does PD mean? The 6 a.m. 4-hour manipulated, but the 10 a.m. manipulated again. Oh, previous day. Previous day. Oh, like, yeah, like look at this. You're talking about this close or something? Talking about 6 a.m. close manipulate? Didn't really manipulate. I don't really see it would have to like take out this high, you know, to be a manipulation. But even if it did that, it would just be manipulation to get to this low. And then it's like, once we get to relevant lows, then it's like a new phase of price, you know? And we got this SMT here, taking out Asia lows and forming that SMT. There's actually another influence there as well, but I don't really teach that. But yeah, it was more like an inside bar, kind of. Like it took out this low, but this is not a relevant low in the market because it's a feather swing to this low. We're really concerned with this low here, right? But are we ready to move on to next day? Okay, awesome. Let's move on. So what day is it now? Let's go to the daily chart. Okay, that's a pretty big move there. Thursday. Let's go to Friday. Oh wow, we closed back within the range here. So Friday, let's see what we get here. So we currently in a 6 a.m. reversal expansion. So let's see if we can get to this high. That would be nice. Do we have any relevant manipulation? No SMT at these lows. No SMT intraday. That's fine. Okay, so like this would need to, if we're gonna go higher, this needs to be a low day. This is one of those cases where there's not enough time in the day to just do this. Like it just wouldn't make sense, right? So this is our low day, for sure. That's what we want to see. Now, if we're gonna be bullish, we're already within the 9 a.m. candle. See how this low was created before the drivers. So we have 8:30, just expanding away from the low day. This is one of the things we look for. Now we would want to see 9:30 also expand away from the low day. So let's see if we get that. We might not even get an opportunity here because we're not within a fractal model currently, so we can't trade within this candle. What you could have done is trade within this 8:30 candle. Let's just see if there was a trade. What the hell? What the hell just happened? Let me redo this. I think I glitch. Went to the 3-minute chart and it put me to yesterday's PA. See if it's fixed now. Alright, it is. Okay. Okay, it kind of just expanded away. There's not really much to trade there. Unless you're going to trade within candle 4 here, maybe. Maybe create that. So yeah, you could have technically traded right here. So you have 9 o'clock open right here. And you get that CSD here. As long as it's before we take out objectives, this is a potential entry. Okay, yeah. Like you could have maybe taken this. Right, the 4 hours already aligned. You're within a 30-minute fractal model. And you could already be in trying to use that 9:30 driver on your side. So it would look something like this. Maybe take a partial 2R. It already hit that. You could look for that. But let's see if we can get a trade. So we have to wait. Like you have to wait for a new fractal model to appear here. So let's see if you can even get that. So we're gonna play till 10 a.m. here. So obviously our draw is higher. It's one-sided bias here, for sure. But we're not opening within a fractal model right now. We're actually in a bearish fractal model. And we wouldn't sell this. I wouldn't be interested because we're not going to, trade away from these failure swings here, which is not what we do. So we have to wait for a fractal model again. So we don't get one again. So we have to wait for another one. What about the 1 hour? Do we get one? Okay, we do have a 1 hour fractal model here from this gap. So we need to see this. This is when you this gap would be an invalidation. Probably if we just BS around here. Like we want to see this candle open low into this gap and then immediately displace away. We don't want to see price hang around here. So this is our one shot right here. So all we need to see is a close above here, guys. That is our trade. So let's see if we get that. Putting an SMT here. Okay, I don't really like how low we got here. So now we push it to here. Now if you look here, wait, what the hell just happened? This candle not close yet? Oh, sorry, this candle even close. I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. We have to let this hourly candle close. It didn't even close yet. Okay, still don't have a fractal model. What about 30 minute? Okay, we have a 30 minute. Again, like it's the same thing where this candle hits the key level. We want to see the next candle expand. Yeah, like this is the candle. This is our one shot for the day, and this is often how GXT is. You're gonna have one shot, so it's either gonna reverse here or it's just gonna be shit for the day. This is the only. It's a one-sided bias. This is the only area to reverse from or continue off of. So we'll see if we get that. Okay, so you do get that. So it's valid to enter here. It's just a stop loss. I'm not really sure. This is insane. Yeah, so we're gonna try to wait for a new invalidation to form. We might not get it. So now we need to close above here. Let's see if we get that. Okay, we just never get it, unfortunately. Now what is it? Okay, maybe this was valid. Maybe I missed that. Whoops. We have a candle 3 closure technically. So it would have to be within this candle to enter. Because we didn't have a 1 hour close on this asset. So let's see if we missed. Okay, we didn't. Okay, cool. So there's just no trade there. And we're probably going to see it BS for the whole day, I would imagine. Let's see though. Maybe it goes higher, but we're going to miss the trade because now we're just creating failure swings. And I'm pretty strict on this stuff. Like if we don't reverse quickly from these continuation, or if we don't reverse quickly from a reversal point, then it's just generally not the phase of price that I'm looking for. But it might go there. Yeah, like look at this, guys. You can start to anticipate this stuff. It's just not something you want to trade. It looked so good, right? At this point, where was it? It looks fine at this point right here, right? But we remember, like it was valid. If you guys took this, I wouldn't, hate you for it. This right here, because it's mechanically valid. But it's like, where the hell do you put your stop loss? It's way too big. On NQ, like that's ridiculous. 54 point stop. And then you have to this objective, it's only 1.5 R. So it's not great. So like maybe you take that loss, but that's just something that I demand. It's like a smaller stop loss there. But anyways, let's go to the next day. Anyone have questions about that day? Pretty, like nothing really going on there. Pretty easy to skip. Someone shared the previous day. Management of your trade. Okay, I already went over that. What about this question here? Is it better way to gauge how the wick qualifies short enough? So the only way to do it mechanically is how we mark out 0.5 of candles ranges. That's literally the only way to view it mechanically, right? Because we can't just like go off of like, if it's, this much points, you can't really do that. You have to mark out like 0.5 of candles range to do it mechanically. But with experience, you're just gonna understand. You're just gonna get the hang of it. Like with this, I can't even use the 0.5 of this, right? Because you see how it's opening at the 0.5 of this range. So a lot of times, like sometimes it's kind of, you gotta know when and where to use this, and you're going to use only when we have a really strong close. We're closing near the low of the candle. Here we're not closing near the low. We're closing at the 0.5, right? So sometimes you gotta know when to just discretionary. Like this is obviously a small wick, you know. So you're just gonna learn it with experience. During New York, do you prefer 30-minute time frame to trade the? I trade I trade 1 hour or 30-minute. Like which one you like the best, but I trade both, and I don't see a difference between the 3-minute and the 5-minute. To be honest, I really don't see much of a difference. They're like the same thing to me. Do you always wait for the secondary CSD? So within the fractal model, it's mechanically valid to enter the first CSD if candle 2 doesn't create it, but candle 3 creates it. Because now candle 3's wick is, kind of like protected by the CSD essentially. But if it's a candle 3 and candle 2 does a CSD, we're trying to confirm the wick with a continuation order block. The fact that we didn't expand higher, like we expanded around 11 a.m., that was the sign to, yeah, like, wait, then we retraced lower. It's the fact that we didn't continue like immediately from this gap, because you don't want to see price hang around in a continuation. Like this is the only area for price to continue off of, this fair value gap, right? So you don't want to see price hang around here. As soon as we hit this level, you want to see the next candle expand away with speed, right? It's just like if we swept a higher low, we don't want to see price hang around here, right? You want to see price expand immediately. Because that would just be like consolidation, you know? You want price to show the willingness to trade away from a level. The premise here, the low day confirmed because 830 driver. Yeah, the one that we just went over. This one, but it's the high day. That was the 11th, right? Wait, was this the 11th? Yeah. So yeah, the high day created from manipulation. So it's literally just 3 days or like a big range. The weekly is a very large range, right? So it makes sense to come back within that range. And when would oh my god, I can't talk. Oh my god. When would we come back within this range, right? Red folder, ideally. So, and you also want to be trading away from a protected swing, so you expand back in the range, not retrace back in the range, right? Because after manipulation, we expand. So we have that on our side. This is my ideal profile. The daily candle also opens high first. That supports a bearish candle. And you're kind of like, what's it called? What's the word here? I'm kind of going brain dead right now. You're like, bro, I can't think of the word. Holy crap. Like you're having SMT and the driver, support this idea. I don't know why I can't think of the word. Like, kind of weird. Going crazy. Is it safe to enter in the first CST of the fractal model if it has SMT? So just follow the protocol. You only enter the first one when there's no CST in candle 2, but it gets created in candle 3, which is in its course. Now, when you get a little bit more experience, you can do these things. Like my trade on, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. My trade on Friday, I took this trade. I didn't post it because I don't want to cause confusion. But I took this on ES. I should have taken on NQ, but it doesn't really matter. And that's just because we were inside of a 4-hour expansion candle. So I was trading within this candle right here. And I put in my channel, like the bias was a little iffy coming into the session, or at 9:30, the open. So I needed to see a little bit more, right? I was either going to frame a trade to this low, or I need to wait for a protected level to be created to trade away from this low, right? So the fact that we did that at 9:30, we see if we go to YM, you see YM run out all these lows, and so that is kind of my confluence, right? And then if we're going to trade away from the low of day, then what would 9:30 do, right? It should expand. So it's kind of like having SMT, but also the driver expanding away from the low of day. Something I talk about a lot. So if you look here, I'm trading within the 9 o'clock candle. The 9 o'clock candle opens low first. Its low is created for manipulation in SMT. So I'm trading within an hourly candle too, within a daily and 4-hour expansion candle, right? Does that make sense? So this is my trade, right? I was looking for all these highs, or a little bit past this, but I partialed at 2R, and I got stopped out, break even. And I couldn't really trail because there's no structure to trail to, as you see. And then I got a reposition. I took another trade. That one played out. But like once you guys like get some experience, you guys can learn how to do positional entries like you guys see me do, or stuff like that. But it's all the same thing. You see I'm just aligning expansion candles? Like it's all the same thing. I'm just trading within this expansion candle, assuming that's going to form a reversal to expansion. It's just like how I do on the 4-hour time frame. So at this point, you see the daily is an expansion candle, the 4 hours an expansion candle. Now the hourly is an expansion candle. Right? That's like the whole thing about my model. That's my goal, is to align expansion candles. And then I have SMT and the driver kind of supporting the idea of trading away from these lows. But anyways, let's get back to the back test here. So this is a horrendous day. That was Friday, by the way. So that was the end of the week. So maybe it makes sense. I didn't really recognize that. May make sense why I was kind of trash, right? Friday, when you have a huge range, you generally don't want to trade Friday continuation. But if it was just a little TP, like we weren't looking for too much, right? We're just looking to here, the previous high. Which we kind of rarely inside bar. So I kind of like that trade. The idea for continuation from that gap, it just didn't happen. So, okay, this looks really bad. Now we're just kind of consolidating. So this looks horrible. You never want to trade away from any of these feather swings. So we'll see what we got here though. Again, we're not trading, like you guys saw my trade on, I took RTY, but we were in a range, right, on indices. But internally, like within the daily profile, we created a protected swing to get to one of the sides of the ranges. But here we're not doing that. We don't have that because, this right here is like a failure swing to me. So, and we're not even in a fractal model, so we can't even trade this anyways. Could like maybe trade it. Dude, is this like a bank holiday? P looks horrendous. No news. Let me just play till 10 a.m. This looks like a bank holiday or something. 9:30. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I can't really trade here. We're just gonna skip this day. Do y'all see why though? Like it's just trash. Not really. On the daily chart and intraday, it's just not really clean. So I got pinged. What did I get pinged for? A question, I think. There are many times when YM does not work in sync with Union. How do you trust? Okay, so when they are in sync, that's when you use them. Because you can't use YM if it's not synced, right? Because there would be no crack in correlation if there is no correlation. So when there is no, when they're not synced, then I use RTY. I will kind of trade YM as a individual asset and use RTY. And if I'm going to trade RTY, I'm only referring to YM as the correlated asset. But yeah, generally I'm favoring NQ and ES for my Kraken correlations. But if you look at my trade Friday, there was actually a 2-stage SMT with ES. Or sorry, YM. Yeah, this day looks horrible though. Like we didn't trade, we're not creating the high day from anything. I'm just gonna skip this day. Let's see if that was. Was that a bank holiday? No, that wasn't a bank holiday. Oh, it was. Oh, it was. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so when you have a bank holiday, we're going to revisit these highs. I don't know about today. So today's opening low first. That's pretty sick. That's what we want to see. So yeah, we're gonna see if we get that here. Let's look at the 4-hour chart here. So we're running out this low here. Kind of have these failure swings. Again, we're still in that daily range though, if you look here. So here's Monday's candle. Kind of a large wick here. I don't really like that, but we'll see. If we do trade this day, we're gonna target maybe some internal level, but we'll see what we get. So we are actually opening up within. Is this a fractal model? Yeah, it is. Okay. So 9:30, we're opening up within a fractal model. There's just no trade though. I think this is it. Let me see. Okay, so it would be this right here, but that stop loss is huge. And again, I think I would target like maybe up here or maybe up here. Probably it's just a 2-hour trade, I'm not gonna lie, just because the day doesn't support it. Now, if we get maybe a smaller range within this, but likely we're gonna have to wait. So what time is it? 35. So if you close above this candle, maybe you can take entry. Okay, well that didn't work. So look here. This one looks to be the weaker asset. Did we create a new high day? So the high day is here, guys. Which is nothing, right? If we go to my thing here, right? If we want to frame a reversal candle day, well then what do we need, right? We need the low of day created from a key level. So if we go back here, we're kind of, it's not really, there's no really key level here, honestly. Maybe this swing low, but it's not very clear. Now if we create like an SMT here, that'd be fire. Okay, we actually do have an SMT down here. So that is a key level. It's an hourly manipulation. So we do have that. So does the daily candle support expansion? The answer is no, right? So if the answer is no, do we have the framework to trade a reversal candle? The answer is yes, right? Because we're opening low first, right? We're forming a low of day, potentially. I don't know if there's a low of day yet, early on in the day. But even if this SMT gets created, that's fine, because this is still the low of the day over here. And yeah, the high of day is created early on in the day as well. So this is exactly what we want to see. We want to see open low immediately. So we have session lows to target and session highs to target. So that's all good, right? So when you go to the 4-hour time frame, if the answer is yes, then we need to be trading within a 4-hour expansion candle. We are within a 4-hour expansion candle, right? We don't have a fractal model, so we need to wait. So we're going to wait for this hourly close. Okay, so look here. We do create this SMT down here. This is really good. As long as we get this close here on the 30-minute or the 1 hour. Okay, cool. Amazing. This is really good. And we're respecting this gap. So I really like this here. So obviously we're going to trade over here because it's obviously the what do you call it, stronger asset here. Right? Just looking at it. So let's go ahead and look, see what we got here. So the candle opens low first. That's great. I love this signature. See this expansion at the low and expansion away. That's really good. You have a fair value gap here, or like BPR. Again, we don't really use that, those concepts, but this is our main objective, right? It's going to be the current day's high because we don't expect expansion past it. So we can target this high or maybe a little bit past it. So maybe these failure swings, these like equal highs here. If we don't have 2R, we can just like extend it to here. I can't delete this for some reason. Okay. Let's go ahead and mark out the daily open here. Again, I hope this gives entry. This would be sick because this is like perfect here. Okay, so mechanically, we can enter this right here actually. Right, we have a fair value gap. Like I said, I really like this. So you see 930 as well. 930 is really the one that makes this opposing run. And now we're getting the expansion away. So we're going to take this trade here. Do I at least have 2R here? No, 2R here. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to settle for a little bit past the daily open, so hopefully that gets hit. And then we'll manage really aggressively because these are the days where you need to be a little bit more conservative because the daily candle doesn't support expansion. So if we go here, we have a London reversal on this asset. On this asset, we have a New York reversal, 10 amp continuation. So it's both 10 amp continuation. So what we see here is a swing point here on this asset, and we're trading candle 4 higher. Over here, we have a candle 2, so we're trading candle 3 higher. Let's just look at YM. I'm just like curious, honestly. YM, does it take out anything? Okay, so YM has a divergence here. Or was it with this low? You get my point. It's not really that correlated though, so we're not even gonna be focusing on that. Let's keep it simple here. So we can assume that we formed a low on 10 a.m. hopefully. Where's the open price? So we have this little open low into this gap. So anyways, enough yapping. Let's just see what happens here. Looking really good. Now, can I get a better trade off this? I think we're gonna partial. Nah, we'll just TP there. It's fine. Okay, cool. So I was gonna partial potentially right here, but let's see if we get here. That'd be kind of crazy. I'd be pretty surprised if we get here. Oh wow. Oh, we probably would have got stopped it or trailed that right there. So that goes quite a bit. It goes 4R. So we TP'd at 2R. We're not mad at that though. But we're gonna see that this day is probably gonna close back in the range because that's just what happens with these days. And we can kind of anticipate that. So yeah, look. Right, it's not random, right? So look at this ES trade. This is the current day's high right here. See how we're coming up? So this is gonna look like expansion candle. See? Looks like expansion candle. So it's just creating a new high. And like I said, highs and lows of the day, especially when it's like this, where it's already supporting bearishness, when we revisit these highs, it's likely to reverse. This is called the delayed protraction profile. It's like a version of New York reversal. But as you see, we do close back in the range. So that was a good TP area for sure. Not mad at that again. So let's see what we get. What time is it, guys? Like, we got 15 minutes left here. How many times win? Okay, I already answered that. Was the entry off 30-minute 5? No, it was off of hourly, right? Yeah, it was hourly close. This is a very, guys, this is a really good trader here, in my opinion. Like, this is textbook version of this profile right here. This is in my course. So we traded off this right here. We also have, it's an ideal swing formation as well. You'll see that candle 2 closes above there. That's a really good trade. I was pretty confident in that one. Yeah, exactly. Is it recorded? Yes. Could you show the C2 closure on this trade? Yeah, I just did. Yeah, right here. Very nice. And here's that SMT. That was a nice one. Yeah, man, the major problem that I am facing right now is to avoid the days of shit PA, and the days it is good. Yeah, if you watch my breakdown on CL, like there's actually, if we have time, I'll go over a day where there's another day this week where CL and gold, it's like the same day. It's very avoidable stuff, and they're all repeatable things that you can look out for. So like learning the model is one thing, but with experience, you learn when and where to use the model, and when it's high probable and stuff like that. So look here. So again, this is like really gross. Let's go to the daily real quick. Let's see what's popping here. All right, so we have these fair swings at the highs. So Monday consolidation, Tuesday. I mean, we don't really do anything Tuesday necessarily. I'm kind of viewing this as maybe a creating the low of the week, but the low of the week could like it's gonna form from here. If we're gonna be bullish, I mean, there's nothing beyond all these fair swings. We don't want to see it go down here. So this is when you can anticipate SMT potentially. Maybe we don't take out this low, but what did we notice about this day? It's a bearish expansion day, so we can't even long this day, really. You can't have unrealistic targets this day either. So this gap here. So maybe I can see this happening for sure. Like maybe this gap stays open. See how far we are from that gap. So that would be nice. Because what I'm seeing right here is like expansion, consolidation. If we can manipulate, maybe with an SMT, form the low of the week, and then expand, that'd be nice. And it's logical, right? Expansion, consolidation. Failure swings to the highs. We don't want to trade away from those. Obviously over here as well, right? So if we manipulate off these lows, we could form a protected swing potentially. But just looking within this candle here, this looks pretty nice. I think I saw potential trade. 1800 just expands away, leaves equal lows, and then open high into the gap. The high of the candles created from a fractal model. This is like pre-session, but you see how we expand off of that. So that's a pretty cool opportunity there. See if there's a trade. Oh yeah, there was. That's really nice. Absolutely gorgeous. Right there. Yep, so 8 o'clock opens right here and forms that CST. This is your trade right here, mechanically. And I think this is logical too. But we skipped past that. That is like, that would have been like the best trade of the stream, like Loki. That's a nice one right there. Anyways, so we can't long, or we can't really short either. I'm not a fan of shorting this. Maybe we get a trade. We're within a fractal model here, so we'll see. But we already took out objectives, so you guys know I'm not a fan of that. And on AES here, we took out this. Like we want to see the low of the week form here, ideally, right? Within this gap. So when I show you guys about when you want to trade like reversal candles, it's going to be on stuff like this where the higher time frame hits a key level, or another version of trading the reversal candle is like a continuation day, where we're already bullish, but maybe the retracement of the day is like a really large wick, so you just trade, back to the open. That's kind of what we did this day. So those are the two types of ones you want to focus on. This would be not be one you want to focus on, right? Because it's not continuation, not really reversal necessarily. Actually, we did trade this one, and there's logic actually. There's like 3 days of expansion. But this one, or like one of these, like especially this one, not really that interesting because we're not reversing off of anything. It's not continuation either. Yeah, that's a good example. But God, I'm yapping. I'm so sorry. But maybe we get a trade here, but it's going to be very low probability, in my opinion. We'll take it though. Okay, never mind. We won't. Never mind. Cool. So we are going to this low. Okay. And I want this to create an SMT, ideally. So we'll see what we do. So obviously we have to wait for 10 a.m. Probably a day we skip, to be fair though. Just being honest here. Yeah, like it's probably going to go take out this low, which I don't want it to do. So we can't trade continuation. Obviously, we're not going to ever trade continuation off of a huge daily range like this. There could be potential for trading back in the range. I mean, it kind of does fit our thing here, but I just don't know what the key level really is here. Maybe it's this low, the SMT. It'd be really low probability. We'll just kind of tape read it. So let's see if we get a 30-minute close here. If you wanted to trade a 4-hour candle back in the range, it needs to form like the first candle. Like right now, it would need to do it. So there that is. Cool. We have an SMT as well down here. So I'm not going to take this, probably, unless you guys want me to. What do you guys think? Should we take this? If we are, we can do low risk. So maybe we take a trade to this high or something. Maybe a fair value gap, so like external to internal. Yeah, so like this fair value gap here, guys, we could take potentially. What we got here? I don't really have a standard deviation that I can use. It's not really useful, to be fair. Let's just play the fractal model, right? So we have a candle 2 closer. Do we have a CST within it? Yes. Right, we have a CST there. And if this is going to be a bullish candle, this next 30-minute, it's going to form within this range. right? Because this is in the upper half of this candle, right? So this would be our validation point. So if you get something clean, like maybe you'll take it. Okay, it's starting to look decent. What do we got here? So you have the SMT kind of holding this gap. Think about, so we clearly see this is the stronger asset in Q, not only because of the higher time frame, what do we call it? The higher time frame SMT, but now we see that this asset is actually closing above this CSD first. So let's look at YM here. Compare. See if we can get additional. Okay, so YM actually maybe might go here. And YM was the weakest asset out of all three. So if YM is going to get here, then potentially it kind of adds a narrative for higher prices. And maybe we could have traded YM because we have a CSD here. But and we also have like some SMT that I just saw. Pretty sure. Oh, that's kind of weird. I like SMT here. It's like interesting. Like any lower time frame SMT. We're just gonna take it. Fuck it. And there is logic to trade it, right? You don't really expect the whole day to continue that expansion. The daily range is already like very large here. Look at this daily range, guys. Huge. So to trade back into it, the 4-hour expansion candle is logical, but we need to adjust our targets for sure. This is one of those days where like I'm gonna demand a retest, and then put my stop loss here for sure. Unless we form like a fair value gap. So if we form a fair value gap, first off, hold on. I will put my stop loss, my limit here, and we'll just go for 2R. I think that's fine. Okay, so see this fair value gap? Because we're probably not likely to get a retest. It's just less likely to do it, so that's going to be our trade. Okay, so we also CSD over here. That's what we wanted to see. So now this weaker asset is getting a CSD as well. So we'll see about this. See if we get a retest here. Kind of just consolidating, leaving these equal highs here. So not likely to reverse on this asset. So now we get filled there. So let's see how this goes. Okay, we're going to manage really aggressively as well. So we have a CSD here. So again, if we're going to trade a day like this, you kind of have to manage aggressively. And your targets have to be a little bit lower. So did we get that retest as well? Oh, we actually did get that retest. That's nice. Go to 30-minute. So look here. We have that candle 3. For that swing formation, now we're trading candle 4, hopefully higher. But yeah, there's no reason to return back this low, right? So that's why we can go break even. So, oh, there we go. Nice. Now let's see where we go after this. So at this point, we're kind of trading within the premium end of the previous candle. So if that fails, maybe we even go higher. So we got a candle 2. But the reason why we're not waiting for a candle 2 on the hourly is because we want to get in as soon as possible, right? Because we don't want to get high. We don't want to get involved higher in the range, right? Because it'll be less likely to play out. So as you see, we're kind of making a deep run back. Oh, wow. Didn't expect that continuation. We're going to form this SMT. This here could be a 2-stage SMT. Right here. And this is where you want to see the low of the week. Like I said, this is where the low of the week will form. The low of the week will form within current price, or like the current weekly range, or within the previous weekly range. Right? This is the only level to do it from. This swing point or this fair value gap. Right? So if this is going to be the low of the week, then it needs to form like obviously this day, you know. Anyways, let's just go to the next day. See? Amazing. Let's see if we get an opportunity though. I don't like how the day already expanded. You guys know I don't like that. So we're not opening up with a fractal model here, fortunately. Okay, we have to wait for 10 a.m. Are we leaving this high here? Okay, we're leaving this high. Again, we're not opening up the fractal. Oh, you actually are. You have a swing point. This would be very low probability, in my opinion. We'll take it. Okay, we don't CSD. Yeah, I mean, look, it's kind of like yesterday, where we expanded very, very, which is a huge range before 10 a.m. So it's just literally the same thing. 1800 low, the hive day, it's a very large range, and then 10 a.m. could potentially come back on the range here. But again, we would need to see a reversal. I mean, off this low, but we have SMT right there already. So, I mean, I don't even want to see this SMT break, ideally. Okay, so you get this here, this candle 3, so this could be valid to take, potentially. I think it's valid right now to take, actually. Yeah, it is. Okay. So this is valid to take right here, guys. Very crappy PA, though. Oh my god. But we're just going to take it. Looks really gross. But if you look here, guys, we still have this objective open, obviously. Right, so ideally, like I said, this is lower probability, though. It's just super high on the daily range, not ideal. But if we're going to continue, you want this SMT to hold, right? Or we want to reverse off this low quickly, like within like one candle or two candles. But so the fact that we're holding this opposing candle, maybe you can squeeze 2R out of it. So we'll just see though, but I don't know. We might get crapped on here. Like we actually missed that trade. I might just skip this day, guys, honestly. I already hit our objective, and yeah, not really something I'm interested in. Let's see what y'all saying though. Okay, so I think I ended off like right here, right? So it's already 12 o'clock, guys. Might just end it there. Wasn't sure off 30-minute, 3-minute. Okay, I already answered that stuff. I think I answered this one. Yeah, I did. What's your normal chart layout when trading live? Literally, this right here. One screen. That's how I like to trade. I don't even have multiple screens either. Due to my work schedule, Thursday, Friday, I won't be able to trade. I won't be free to trade New York. If I wanted to trade London these days, would GXC still available basically for the reversal? Yeah, so here's how you would trade London reversal. It's pretty specific in my opinion. You need the previous day to actually do something. You need a closure, like a strong closure or reversal. And given this expansion day, it expands, right? So if Asia, you want to see continuation signature, meaning you want to like consolidate, and then you want to use that consolidation low or Asia low as a means to reverse the daily candle essentially. So this is where you want to trade London to go higher. But if this is your invalidation, if Asia just kind of trades higher, that's your invalidation. If Asia, I mean, that's really the only one. Unless Asia does this or something, that would be an invalidation. You want to see it consolidate. Even when you come into, like, if you want to frame a New York reversal, you want to see Asia, London consolidate or retrace. So maybe Asia can retrace into a PDRA and then London can expand away. But you need to see the high of day if you want to long, basically be unestablished highs in the form of session highs. So you can frame continuation. And it'd be like the same thing for a reversal day, right? But yeah, you can still trade. It's the same thing. So I'll try to find an example. So it's kind of like this. If you see how the previous day expands, this session just consolidates. If we did something like this, I mean, we do reverse off of this. It'd be ideal if you had SMT here. This is how you would trade it though. And it doesn't even matter if price comes back in New York because you're not trading New York. You can still catch and move that way. I don't have sessions on, but yeah, hopefully you get my point there. Do I trade before the open? Yeah, I do. It's situational though. So like if we manipulate prior to the open or any red folder, then the red folder should just expand away, right? But the manipulation needs to form the high of day and not expand. So if it doesn't expand, but it confirms reversal, so let's say we're opening up within, let's say the open is opening near like an opposing candle, right? The opposing candle confirmed the reversal. That's when you want to get involved because it's just going to basically just melt off the open, right? After manipulation, you expand. So if there's no expansion, there's only one thing to do. There's no point to revisit that manipulation high, so it just expands. You guys saw me do that this week on like, I don't even know what pair, bro. Maybe it was like YM or something. Yeah, it was YM. It was this day. So if you look here, we have SMT up here. We open up high first. That's you know, supporting a bearish day. We also have session lows to target. So this is like TP1, and then previous day's low. Now between the triad correlated indices, YM is the weakest asset. Hence why I created a lower low. So we also failed to manipulate here. So this is 8:30 red folder news CPI. So if CPI or 8:30, you know, manipulates with SMT and all this stuff, then what should 9:30 do? It's literally what we just did on one of the back-tested examples, where 8:30 manipulated, 9:30 should expand. So where's 9:30 at? So what does 9:30 open up near? These bulky opposing candles. And you want it to be like a bulky opposing candle or like a larger range opposing candle. Like you don't want it to be like choppy or a small range opposing candle because you're more than likely to get taken out. And you also don't want it to be, you don't want expansion to occur before, because if you open up 9:30 down here, you could easily retrace or like make an opposing run to the draw and then expand. But here, obviously we haven't expanded yet. So I'm just setting my limit here, stop loss above here, assuming that 9:30 will create its high and then expand away, because we haven't expanded yet, so it should just expand, right? That's exactly what happens. These are some things you guys can anticipate, and yeah, but we'll get into that stuff like later. It's a bit more advanced. It's not totally necessary. Yes, full ported. Did we even take that? Oh yeah, we did. If picture is clear, you can enter before the open. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's more of a like situational thing. You cannot do it every day. Nice, June. What's Tuesday's SMT? All that is a like a higher time from SMT or like a larger SMT. So if you go back to over here, we had this this large raised SMT, but you don't know sometimes when these SMTs are going to hold, because one asset could just be lagging, right? That SMT will break. So the way I like to do it is having a larger SMT confirmed by a smaller range SMT. So see, if you can just use like time frame alignment. So daily, we went from the daily to the 1 hour. And you can literally like anticipate this stuff. Like because when one asset hits this low, and then you think about the low of the week being formed, because the previous week expanded, right? And in expansion, you're going to form key levels within this range for the previous week to form its low off of. Or just simply the current week will maybe form a reversal off of its own PA. So like maybe Monday, Tuesday consolidate, and then Wednesday will reverse off of that. You know what I'm saying? But here we're using the previous week's key level. And this is how I use this is what we do on the daily time frame too. I'm really trying to frame reversal profiles off the current day's range and the previous day's range, right? And this is just really anticipatable, like expansion consolidation. Like this is like actually really clean PA here. Very fire. And we also open low first without hitting anything relevant. But I think we'll just wrap it up there, guys. So we can just do some questions a little bit more. But we'll continue these back tests. for sure. What day are we ending on there? That was a Thursday. Good day to end it on. Wait, did we even have a trade there? I don't think we ended with a trade. We'll play this out, but yeah, this is probably gonna be trash, I would imagine. Yeah, there's nothing to trade, bro. Maybe you could have traded back in the range. Only if we had like a SMT. Okay, that's what I mean by large range, small range SMT. So you technically could have traded, we have a large range SMT here. You guys see that? Go to lower time frame. What do we have up here? Small range SMT. Right, and then the higher the candle, so the 4-hour candle is opening high first, and then you get this reversal candle. So maybe you get a trade here. I don't know. I don't really see one, to be honest. What about 30-minute? There is a close on the 30-minute. Okay, no, there's nothing. It just gets confirmed by this huge candle here. You can't put your stop loss like this. It's just too large. Maybe if you're like a one-on-one trader. Oh, that actually did go 2R. That's crazy. What the hell? But I wouldn't trade that, to be totally honest. Bro trades like 10 assets. No, I'd say like 3. So like the way I trade, I get asked this like a ton. It makes sense, but the way like I can trade multiple assets, it's just because like I know exactly what I'm looking for. Like you guys, you guys saw me back testing. I'm like, this should happen. Like it's like if then scenarios. And yeah, with experience, like you'll know exactly what you're looking for. And with my model, I know when to avoid certain things. Like if this is a reversal candle or blah blah blah, or when PA doesn't do this, and I'll just totally avoid it. Like usually when I come to session, I can tell pretty quickly if I'm even going to be trading this asset or not, or that asset or not, like very quickly. And that just comes with experience, with daily profiling, really. Like it's all experience, to be honest. On Public Stream, other day, you mentioned someone, I think you're talking about fees or something like that, teaching daily profiles in good detail. Can you link? Yeah, look, so fees. Go watch him. I learned the protraction profile from him. We can do a stream, like just dedicated to like profiling and what makes an established higher low day or etc. Like, because it gets super deep, and that's the most important part of my trading. Because you guys see me trade almost every day, and I'm not requiring daily closures all the time. I'm requiring intraday profiling. Like if like within this, the way this candle forms and relative to key levels around it, right? Then you can kind of anticipate where the current day candle is going to go. You can frame trades off of that alone. Walk away, executing, rechecking. I used to do that, but I don't really care anymore. Like I'll watch it. Like I'll just stay next to my computer, but I'm not like tripping about it or nothing like that. Like sometimes I'm on my phone. Like I took a trade driving this week. I was driving my brother to school or his sister. I forgot which one. I think I took 2 trades driving because I've been taking them to school. But yeah, I'll just close my trade. I'll set alerts, or not my trade, my phone. Like I'll go do things. I'll go walk around or whatever. But I'm mainly by my computer. Profiling could be a nice one. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I can do that. We'll do the next stream, okay? For sure, for sure. Do you have a YouTube channel? Yeah, but they're not good videos. I don't know how to edit. They're kind of old, and I'll get to making videos again. How are you talking or taking your trades on a tablet or your phone? Again, it's pretty, like, I used to trade on my phone, guys, like only my phone. When I used to work, I had to do that, so I'm just like used to it. So like, I guess experience, I don't know. It's just the fact that I know exactly what I'm like. It just makes it easy. Like, and also with my system, you guys know exactly when to trade the fractal model. It's around these candle openings the majority of the time. So it's like I just have to look at my phone at like 10 a.m. or sometimes I'll trade within the 6 a.m. candle, but mostly it's 10 a.m. So it's like I know it's like these little small windows of time that I just have to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? But we'll probably wrap it up there. We're like over an hour. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let's go ahead and look at our stats. I think we did pretty good. We're doing pretty good. Now it's only 9 trades, but yeah, not bad, man. Um, yeah, it's only like 2 weeks, but as of my like live trading, like, dude, I only took like 1 loss this week. That's crazy. I don't really like you guys with experience. I know you guys are killing it. Like a lot of you guys are killing it already with the model. With experience, you're gonna learn how to like even filter stuff even more, and you're gonna go crazy, bro. Like just with experience, it takes time for sure. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Appreciate y'all joining. A lot of people joined, damn. But yeah, have a good weekend, man. Make sure to study and hopefully good luck next week. I'll catch y'all later.